On the morning of May 8, 2025, the world quietly stood still without even knowing it. In the calm of early dawn, in a small but sacred corner of Italy, something was happening, something no one could have predicted, and something that would soon change the path of the Church forever. It wasn't happening in Vatican City. It wasn't taking place under the shining dome of St. Peter's Basilica. No grand procession was marching forward yet, and no white smoke had yet appeared from the Sistine Chapel. Instead, far away in the city of Bologna, in the midst of a light drizzle and a peaceful sky, a crowd had gathered. They came not for politics or spectacle, they had come for prayer. As they always did on that special morning, the faithful stood, waiting for the sacred image of the Madonna of San Luca to descend into the heart of the city. This tradition, this quiet pilgrimage, had lasted generations. It had outlived kings and outlasted wars, and now it was about to witness something it had never seen before. Among the people, walking without fanfare, was Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost. At that time, he was just a man known for his service to the poor, a missionary, a spiritual leader, and someone deeply connected to Latin America and its people. He had spent much of his ministry not behind polished walls, but riding horseback, across rough terrains, serving forgotten communities, and living among those whose hands were worn from labor and prayer. That morning, as he stood among the people of Bologna, something stirred inside him. The air wasn't just damp with rain, it was full of something invisible, yet powerful. Cardinal Prevost had given many homilies in his life, but as he lifted his voice to the crowd that day, he wasn't speaking as someone important. He wasn't preaching from above them. He stood as one of them. He looked at the sacred image of the Virgin Mary and spoke of things that don't always make headlines, like silent suffering, deep love, and quiet strength. He spoke of mothers who cry for their children, of families holding on through storms, of the beauty of stillness and how grace often arrives when no one is watching. He reminded everyone that holiness doesn't always come with loud trumpets. Sometimes it comes through tears, through rain, through silence. What he did not know, what no one standing with him that morning could have guessed, was that within just a few hours, his life would never be the same. While the people prayed, beneath the Madonna's watchful gaze in Rome, history was unfolding. The College of Cardinals had been in deep discussion. The papal conclave had narrowed its choices. The world's attention had not yet turned to Rome because no announcement had been made. But behind the sacred walls of the Sistine Chapel, something had shifted. The votes had been cast. A decision had been made. And as the sun rose higher above the rooftops of Vatican City, the bells began to toll. From balconies and bridges, the words were spoken, Habemus Papam. We have a pope. Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost had been elected as the next successor to St. Peter. He would no longer be just the missionary from Peru. He was now Pope Leo XIV. This decision surprised many. The world had been watching other names. There had been predictions and articles, discussions and debates, but this choice, this humble cardinal, known for his simplicity and gentle strength, was now the spiritual father of over 1 billion people. And then came the surprise that shocked everyone, not the surprise of his election, but what he said after. Tradition holds that a new pope, once elected, steps out onto the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square. He offers a blessing, he greets the people. But Pope Leo XIV did something that had never been done in quite this way before. After his blessing, after the prayers, and after the first cheers of the crowd settled down, he stepped back to the microphone and with a soft but clear voice made a statement that would echo around the world. He said, "Before I begin this sacred journey, I must speak as a son, not only as a shepherd. I must speak to the world not with commands, but with confession. The Church is not perfect. I am not perfect. But I believe that holiness begins in humility, so I begin this papacy not by pointing fingers outward, but by opening my hands and my heart first." There was silence. The kind of silence that falls when something true is spoken. He went on to say, "We have made mistakes, we have fallen short. There are people who have been hurt by those who were meant to protect them. There are wounds that still ache in silence. I cannot change the past, but I can make sure that the Church, from this day forward, walks without pretending. We will not hide behind robes or titles. We will walk forward in the light." People in the crowd began to cry. Some applauded gently. Some bowed their heads. Around the world, this statement was broadcast live, and within minutes it was being translated into every language imaginable. What made it so powerful was not only what he said, but how he said it. There was no script, no polished speech, just a man, now wearing white, speaking from the depth of his soul. He spoke not only about the Church's wounds, but about the world's, he said. "We are a people starving not only for food, but for meaning. Many have bread, but no hope. Many have houses, but no home. The greatest poverty today is not hunger, it is loneliness. And the Church must become a shelter, not just of rituals, but of hearts." And then came the part that caused headlines. Pope Leo XIV announced that he would be opening the doors of the Vatican, not only symbolically, but physically. He said, "From now on, every Friday, the Apostolic Palace will open its gates to the homeless of Rome, not as a museum, not as a stage, but as a place of rest." Reporters couldn't believe it. Was he serious? He was. That very week, people living on the streets of Rome were welcomed into the very halls where popes had walked for centuries. Meals were served, beds were prepared, showers were offered, not by hired staff, but by priests, bishops, even members of the Swiss Guard. And it didn't stop there. Pope Leo XIV declared a new initiative called Hearts Without Borders. Under this plan, every parish in Europe would be encouraged to adopt a refugee family, not just to give money, but to provide housing, education, and friendship. He said, "If we can build walls to keep people out, then we can build doors to welcome them in." This statement sparked praise and criticism. Some said he was going too far. Others said he was doing what Jesus would have done. But Pope Leo XIV did not stop to argue. He simply kept going. And yet beneath all of these actions was something even deeper, something spiritual. He called on all believers, not just Catholics, to return to what he called the quiet flame. He explained that in every soul there is a light, a quiet flame that wants to burn with love, mercy, and truth. But the noise of the world, the anger, the judgment, the distractions, keeps smothering that flame. He said, "Before we can fix the world, we must return to silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of listening." To help with this, he invited the whole world to join in something unusual. He asked for 1 minute of silence every day at noon. No matter where you were, 1 minute to pause, to remember who you are, to remember who God is, and to remember that life is more than noise. This invitation became known as the Quiet Minute. And within days, people across the globe started setting their alarms. It is key. Office buildings, in schools, in prisons, in hospitals, even in Times Square, for 1 full minute, screens flashed the words, "The Quiet Minute." And all of this began from a pope the world didn't expect, and a statement no one had seen coming. But perhaps the most touching part of his message was what he said to those who feel lost. He said, "To those who have been hurt by the Church, I say this, I see you, I cannot undo your pain, but I can walk with you. You don't have to believe everything today. You don't have to trust again right away. But if you are willing, let us start again, not as priest and parishioner, but as brother and sister." It was the first time many had heard a pope speak so openly about people who had walked away from the Church. And it didn't come with pressure, it came with peace. He finished his statement with these words, "I do not come with answers. I come with questions. Questions I hope we will ask together,